this is the person with PTSD.
Yep.
Okay, so let's say police officer or whatever you like. Okay, here they are, and they've got this damn wall of resilience. Anyway, so we're working in our service role, and we start to accumulate some trauma. So if you're a police officer, say this might be, you know, a bunch of violent domestics that you've attended, maybe a suicide, and until one fine day something happens. I'm just drawing this as a thicker layer in you know, sort of strata in our dam here. And this is something that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, this is something that was a big deal. And this thing, it kind of works its way through this little crack in our vulnerability. All protected here behind our dam.
Yeah.
All right, we can handle things pretty well. And then one day something happens and it's like, whoa, this is really knocking me around. And it has this kind of feeling as that, okay, I can still get on with it. I can sort of plug that hole.
Yeah.
All right, and get on with it. But it sort of costs you a bit. More jobs, more incidents, you know, and unexpected trauma hits. Okay, and again, it gets through our little kind of vulnerability too.
But as you said before, the kind of their identity is inherent within this wall, and their identity is kind of, oh, it's only a small crack, don't need to worry about that, got to get back to the job.
Got to get on. So there's often these people have a degree of kind of constitutional fearlessness because they can handle heaps of stuff.
So wrapped up in their identity is, I'm strong, I can handle it, I can cope.
You know, here we go. Same story. More and more trauma accumulates. Okay, here's another big one. Now we've got all kinds of things leaking through.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're just hanging on. This is a sledgehammer that comes down and smashes your wall. Okay. Now this could be a trauma. It could be like one of these big traumas. It's very often a betrayal. So it's often a betrayal by the people who are sort of supposed to be looking after things, the people who are supposed to have their back.
This betrayal is largely the management structure.
Yeah. Now when this happens, it's a bad day, to say the least. This is where things start to come undone. Because essentially what happens is, if this is severe enough, it just shatters your whole damn wall. What that means is once this has ruptured,
you're getting flooded.
yeah, all of this stuff starts hitting you.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's when people essentially start. They're no longer coping now.
Yeah, that's
okay?
a decompensation.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now they might be coming in a hospital. They might be sick. We go from a situation of someone who was once pretty fearless, all right, is now flooded with all this, and they're no longer fearless. Okay. In fact, they're fearful.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like they don't know who they are anymore.
Yeah, because if I can't cope with all of this stuff, then who am I? What good am I?
Yeah. I'm like those weak people that I sort of held in contempt before. All right. So it's not just the trauma. I mean, the trauma's bad. Okay. The trauma's really bad, but it's also the shift in identity. Like, who am I now? I can't cope with this. What's going on?
Yeah.
Okay. Irritability, all that sort of stuff. So then you start getting relationship damage.
Yep.
Okay. And again, that affects your identity too. All right, and this is how people come to us quite often.
Yeah, and so many people seem to believe that PTSD will get you because the dam overflows. But I think in all of our experience, it's the straw that broke the camel's back. And usually it was management didn't have my back.
Yeah,
something horrendous happened and no one had my back on it, and that's the thing that kind of takes down the wall.
Yeah, exactly. So then it's, what the hell do you do?